Hello fellow humans and welcome to the Madhouse. I'm Josh and today this is just a quick video that I hope to upload very briefly because I'm not feeling very well and I'm also a very busy person. Forgive the blanket, but I'm a student and I can't afford to have my heating on all the time. But it's bloody cold. The video I'm going to do then is the favourite genre tag because it's easy. And why the hell not? I wasn't tagged in it, I just saw Sam from Books on Homes do it and thought that I would give it a go myself. So, without further ado, let's begin. Number 1. What is your favourite genre? Fantasy, but including science fiction. I would have to say that science fiction is technically an offshoot of fantasy. Strictly speaking, so are all genres, because fantasy was the first sort of story, of the hero who could kill the saber-toothed tiger with his bare hands, something to give hope to people, and then it just grew over time into something involving magic and gods and monsters and all of that stuff. And really, fantasy is just about something that's fantastical, that cannot happen in our world. Now, take Star Trek, for example. Unless we can figure out how to do faster than light travel, it can't happen. Strictly speaking, warp drive is theoretically possible, but we haven't figured out a way to travel faster than the speed of light using a warp bubble while maintaining internal time without the presence of, what's it called, time dilation. And as well, take Star Wars instead of Star Trek. If you took out the spaceships, it would work perfectly well as a fantasy film. So, there we are. Number 2. The best of the best. Your favourite book in the genre. Well, this has to be, without a doubt, Small Gods by Sir Terry Pratchett. It's my favourite book of all times. I can't show it to you because I'm lending it to a friend who is a very slow reader. I'm not sure why. But it's very, very clever. It takes a look at religion, its place within society, and its impact on morality. It's also very, very funny. Hilarious, really. If I start explaining the jokes, it'll take away the punchlines when you read it. So, read it for yourself and then we'll talk. Or you can watch my summary video about it. The book that started it all. The book that began your love for fantasy. Now, I think I'm going to say the same thing most people who say fantasy will do. Harry Razortooth and the Shark Gang. Sorry, that wasn't even very funny. It was, as most people really would say, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. Not sorcerers, because I'm British, and the Philosopher's Stone is actually what the alchemists called it. There was no sorcery involved whatsoever. It's annoying. But if I have to explain what Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone is about, then I'm afraid I can't help you. It's possibly one of the most well-known books, ever. So, you should know it. Number 4, Hype. A book that deserves the attention it gets, and another book that deserves more hype. Now, a book that deserves all of the attention it gets is Margaret Atwood's The Handmaid's Tale, which is just an excellent and very, very clever book. This one is from the science fiction side of the genre, although Atwood would disagree with that one, because in her view, science fiction is talking squids in outer space and laser beams, while this has no talking squids, no outer space, and as far as we can tell, no laser beams. It's more a story of a society that could come to pass as an extension of our own. And that's what makes it one of the best dystopian novels ever written. It's really fantastic. And a book that needs more hype is The Colour of Magic by Sir Terry Pratchett. It's not that his books aren't well known, because they certainly are. What was it? 80 million copies worldwide in 37 languages? So, Discworld is very well known, but this one is widely considered not to be as good as some of the later books. But I think it's an excellent parody of the fantasy genre. It's not satire yet, it hasn't developed that much. but it's very, very funny and very, very clever. Just make sure you read it shortly followed by the light fantastic, or it won't make sense. Number 5, your biggest pet peeve about the genre. What annoys you most? Now, for this, there are a few things. One is chosen ones. Heroes who save the day not because they are particularly good at what they do or because they are there and simply can help someone. No, it's because they have been chosen by some deity or a prophecy or a great wizard in the past or some such thing. And yes, I'm saying past because that's how I get posher when I get annoyed. I'm not posh, it just happens. And ooh, what was the other one that really pissed me off? You know, I cannot remember. How irritating. There are a lot of things that annoy me about it, but those especially. Number 6. Authors/series on my must-buy list. Now, you have probably guessed that there is Terry Pratchett, as always, although I've pretty much got them all now, so not really anymore. Margaret Atwood, I've got about 3 of her books on the shelf down there and 2 more at home. Very, very good. And she is quite possibly my second favourite living author, although maybe the first, because I'd say Neil Gaiman, who is also on this list, is probably tied. Now, number 7. What places would you like to travel to and what characters would you like to meet? Now, assuming that this means literary ones and ones from books, and, well, yeah, just the books. This narrows it down a bit, because otherwise I'd just say, oh, Venice, or I'll travel the world. But no, I should very much like to visit Ankh-Morpork, though I wouldn't like to stay for very long, and I'd like to meet from the Discworld universe Lord Vetinari, Granny Weatherwax, and Vimes, but not really deaf, because there is the prerequisite of being dead. So I'll avoid that one, thank you very much. And, well, I'd also quite like to visit Middle-earth, but only for a flying visit as well, because there's a lot of very powerful beings and orcs in that place. Let's go with Diagon Alley. After the Second Wizarding War, because during it's no. And before, I know it's happening and can't stop it, so no. Okay, so number 8, what do you want to see more of in this genre? And for that, I want to see a breakdown of tropes or an exploration of them further, because I dislike it when you just have wicked witches with warts on their noses, or fairies who just have sticks with stars on the ends and can use it to wipe away and get rid of everyone's problems, and they're so floaty and airy and good. It's irritating. I prefer complexity in my characters, that's it. Just, why can't it be a fully rounded person who you can believe is real, like Granny Weatherwax, instead of an abstraction? I don't like that. Now, number 9, recommend 3 of your favourite books from this genre. Well, I could do very, very many of them, but I will say Brave New World by Aldous Huxley. It's a hyper-capitalized world using, what's it called? Eugenics to achieve an idyllic society where everyone is bred for their roles. Very, very good book. Very clever. Obviously science fiction-y. There is The Positronic Man by Isaac Asimov and Robert Silverberg. I've talked about this one enough. It's very good. And then, of course, naturally, there's anything by Sir Terry Pratchett, so I'm not going to show you those. I will instead show The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. Now, some people would argue that this isn't fantasy because it's a retelling of an epic, but it's got magic and gods and goddesses in it, so why the hell not? It's an excellent read. It's very poetic in its style, which makes sense because it's a modern version of an epic poem. Though it's not actually written in verse, so it's much more accessible than that. It's full of action and adventure and romance, and it's very sweet and very, very queer. Seriously, it's very good. Now, that's it. I'm not going to tag anyone because I don't know who's done it. But if you are a reader who has a favourite genre, then you do it. Also, any Time Lords in the audience, you have to do it. I'm sorry. Until next time, when I'm hopefully feeling better, goodbye.